guys, it's Jason, and in today's video, we are wrapping up the year with another tier list video where today, just like in the last one, we are ranking video games from personal experiences and personal opinions on them from playing the games. So in today's video, we are ranking all the Resident Evil games that I've played on the channel and in my own time. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight into the tier list video and see what this has to offer us. So to start things off, we are going to rank Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, my thoughts on the game, I liked it. It was actually the first Resident Evil game I ever played, and when I first played this game from Leon and Claire's campaign, I was blown away with the atmosphere, the combat, the enemies, the bosses. I loved it, and the whole storyline was interesting. It really introduced Leon Kennedy in a great fashion, that he just wants a normal career as a police officer in Raccoon City, and then the whole zombie breakout happened, and he met Claire Redfield, who was looking for Chris, who was also a member of the RPD at the time. And I like that they built Umbrella Corporation to be the main villain, the main antagonist of the game. And I like that. And it really introduced Ada Wong in a great fashion as well. I liked it. And all the characters was very interesting. I liked Sherry there, that she was starting off as a young girl just in a messed up situation in Raccoon City at the time. I really liked it. I really liked it. After I first played RE2, I started diving more into the lore of the world of Resident Evil. I liked that. So RE2 is going to have to go on S rank. I liked it. Oh, and just like in my last video where I ranked all the FNAF games, I'm going to do the same thing for here. From S to F. From what I experienced in the game and from what I explained. Yeah, it's going to be the same way here. So, yeah. Let's move on to Resident Evil 3 Remake. And keep in mind, I never actually played any of the original games, so this is just going to be the remakes. So, let's talk about RE3 Remake. Now, for this game, I think it just focused more on the action rather than horror. I liked the Nemesis, I liked Jill and Carlos, I liked Nikolai and all the characters there. It also tied into Resident Evil 2 because in the timeline, this took place before the events of RE2 even happened, before Leon and Claire arrived in Raccoon City. So Jill, Carlos, they were there before they left in the helicopter. And Tyrell was also a good one there. I liked it. And I thought it was a little bit short for me. So this wasn't really my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. So I'm going to put Resident Evil 3 in B. So RE3 is going to go in B. So I think RE2 focused more on both horror and action. I liked the Nemesis. I also liked Mr. X in RE2. But both bosses were fantastic. William Birkin was a great antagonist too. And then I liked the tapes that we learned more about what goes on behind the Umbrella Corporation. Both games were peak. But then again, I liked RE2 better than RE3. So yeah, let's move on to a game that came out back in March. Let's talk about Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4, fantastic. I can see why my friends were telling me that it was the best one out of the entire series. Out of the entire Resident Evil franchise, RE4 Remake was the best one. And when I first started playing it, I was blown away. The combat, the story, the emotion, and the bosses with Krauser, Lord Sadler, Luis, Ashley, Ramon, just pretty much everything. The entire game was fantastic, so there's not much to say, but RE4 is going to go into S. It was nothing but a phenomenal game. One of the best Resident Evil games I ever played in my life, man. So Leon, I liked his one-liners. The bingo line was awesome. And I never actually played the original, but I can see why people were telling me that it was the best one in the franchise. So Resident Evil 4 goes into S. The combat, the melees, Leon's roast, and we got Mendez. We got all these awesome characters. The atmosphere was awesome. It focused on both horror and action. Like, we had the water monster. We had like everything there. Which brings me to my next point with Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. I liked that they made a whole DLC about Ada. Like, it focused on what Ada was up to, while Leon was focusing on saving Ashley. So we had Ada talking about the Amber. The Amber and her mission on going after Louise and working under Wesker. And can I just point out, Albert Wesker is fantastic. Like, I like his character, and his voice actor. It was fantastic, and it really fits him well in his antagonist role. So, Separate Ways, one of the best DLCs I've ever played, has to go on S. I liked that they gave us another campaign to focus on with Ada, and how the stories really connected to each other with both missions. Leon focusing on Ashley, Ada focusing on the Amber. And from there, so yeah, Separate Ways, not much to say. It was a very good DLC. Best one I played. And yeah, let's move on to this one. Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6, it wasn't really that good. It was not that good. While Leon's campaign was good and all, but the others weren't really the best. It was messed up. It was just silly to me. So Resident Evil 6 has to go on F because the other campaigns weren't that good. The story was messed up. I didn't understand where they were going with this. It wasn't like Resident Evil 4 when you had two missions. I think they handled the campaign in RE4 better with Leon and Ada. How Ada at the end focused on saving Leon, and how the endings connected. And I like that they gave us a teaser for RE5 with the end with Wesker standing outside the ship. Resident Evil 6, it wasn't really that good. So, with that, I had doubts that they were going to be able to continue this and pick back up to where they were before. But it proved me wrong with this game, Resident Evil 7. They introduced a new character, a new protagonist, new villains, brand new stories in the Resident Evil franchise. They brought Ethan Winters. And this game focused more on horror, but I like that they include combat in there too, and they made Ethan as a normal person, just in a messed up situation, having to save Mia Winters from this crazy infected family that was controlled by a little demonic girl named Evelyn. I find that interesting. Like, the main game, you focused on killing Jack and Marguerite. You literally have your hand cut off by Jack and infected Mia. And I think with the ship, I wasn't really that interested. You had the ship and the mines, but the Baker house and then the part where you had to deal with Lucas was good, but I feel like it went downhill a little bit once you entered the ship. But then again, lore-wise, I enjoyed it, but gameplay-wise, it started to get a little boring for me. So I'm gonna have to put 7 in D. It was okay, but storyline-wise, it really brought back the Resident Evil franchise in a great fashion. So Capcom did a great job with that. Which brings me to the DLC, Not a Hero. I like that they included some OG characters in the franchise, so Chris Redfield being included was awesome, but His model made me hesitate for a little bit that it was him, but when I played Not a Hero, it proved it. When he punched that big molded monster in the section where he had the 10-minute timer and you had to go to the canister and get that bomb off of you after Lucas killed all the soldiers and Lucas almost tried to kill Chris. It was so funny that Lucas decided to target somebody that can punch boulders and is a legit badass in the Resident Evil franchise. Well, him and Leon both are badasses in theirs, but Not a Hero, I think that was a good end to the Lucas part of the game where Chris killed him after he mutated him during the boss battle. I like the boss battle. It was just a little too short for me, but it's something fun to speedrun there. So, Not a Hero, I'm going to put this in D. It was okay, but it didn't really focus much on the action. But then again, it's Chris Redfield, you know? And it was a good way to end off the story for the BSAA. So yeah, let's go on to banned footage, volumes 1 and 2. All these games in the banned footage was awesome. It talked about daughters, the horrors that Clancy went through when he was captured. Clancy, the cameraman that was with those two other guys at the beginning of the game when you played the first tape, that was awesome. And it showed that the struggles he went through. When you played the game 21, when Lucas forced you to play the game with another victim, and you had to win only to get captured again for the happy birthday footage, I think that was cool, but a little messed up that you kind of start to feel bad for Clancy a little bit. But Daughters, it really showed the truth of the Baker family. Well, aside from the one part of the main game after you complete the ship, when Jack said, free my family, it really showed the good side of the Baker family, that they were not actually bad people. They were just in a fucked up situation. They were trying to be nice to somebody only to get infected and want to fuck people up. So I think it had some great emotion. The actors were fantastic there. They really played the roles well in making us feel emotional for them. That you start to feel bad for the Bakers because they weren't actually bad people, but then again, they tried to kill you in their demonic state. But yeah, the other games were fantastic. You had Bedroom, you had 21, you had Daughters, both endings. We started to play as Zoe, and it was really interesting that Zoe was not crazy like Jack, Marguerite, and Lucas. It was interesting that Zoe was left alone. Evelyn was crazy, infecting people on sight. So yeah, Daughters, I'm gonna have to put this on A because it did a good job telling the story about RA7, aside from the main game and Not a Hero. Which brings me to my next point. Let's talk about Resident Evil Village. Village, wow. It was peak. Resident Evil Village was peak. I loved the story. It picked up really well from RA7. You had Ethan, you had Mia, and this entire game was peak. But Lady Dimitrescu, though, oh man, fantastic. I loved her. The castle part was really fun. I had a good time simping for Lady D. But then again, I'm available to be her stupid man thing. I'll gladly let her do anything she wants to me. Anyways, Jason, get back on topic, please. Say Village, you had these lords and Mother Miranda, fantastic boss battle. I liked that this game had a bunch of references to Resident Evil 4. I like that you had the merchant, aka the Duke, and the line where he says, "What are you buying?" was a fantastic reference to RE4. You had your right hand comes off, where Ethan got his hand chopped off by Lady D, and then you had your first date with her in this game, and then you had Moreau, which I think he was annoying. You had Heisenberg, which I thought his boss battle was really intense. The Chris Redfield part was really fun, and I liked that they played the story really well by Chris not explaining to Ethan why he shot Mia, who we find out later in the game was Miranda. So, yeah, because if he told him in the beginning, it would not have a story. Because he had to have Ethan rescue Rose, who we save at the end of the game, but the ending was really sad where Ethan sacrifices himself to save Rose. But then again, the part where the reveal about the truth of him happened, it really shocked all of us, where we learned that Ethan has actually been dead ever since RE7, where Jack punched him in the face and then welcome to the family, son. That classic line happened. It was really shocking, hence why Ethan was able to endure so much by getting his body parts chopped off and attach it back with no problem with the first aid medicine, with the liquid. That was mind-blowing. And then you have all these guns where you buy from the Duke, just like from the Merchant, where Leon and Ada buy from the Merchant in RE4. I think that was fantastic. But yeah, that's how I'd say for Village. The castle, House Beneviento, that was the scariest part of the game. You had Moreau, you had Heisenberg, and you had the final boss fight with Miranda. And the Chris Redfield section was fantastic. And you had to fight all these giants. It was peak. It was one of the best Resident Evil games I played. So I'm gonna have to put Village on. I'll put this on A because I didn't really care for the Moreau section as much. But yeah, let's put that on A. Shadows of Rose. This is the last one I'm gonna cover for this video. Shadows of Rose. It was a fantastic DLC. Shadows of Rose. It picked up years later when Rose was all grown up in this game, and you had to go back to where your father saved you in the village to get the powers removed because you've been bullied in school. It was fantastic because you go back to the castle, sadly without Lady Dimitrescu, and you had to go back to House Beneviento where you had the dolls make fun of you. I'm gonna admit I struggled when I was playing it, but it was still fantastic. And then you had the boss battle with Miranda. I think that was fantastic. But I liked the one with where Ethan faced her better because you couldn't actually use your guns in the Shadows of Rose boss battle with Miranda. But then again, the DLC was awesome. I'm going to put this on A because I struggled with the House Beneviento part. But yeah, I like the actor for Rose. And then you brought back Evelyn. You brought back Miranda. And the moment with Ethan and Rose share their love for each other. I'm going to admit, I was pretty emotional with that. Where Ethan just showed his love for Rose, how proud he is. A great dad. A W father. Like, he's father of the year in my books. So Ethan was the best one. His story was fantastic. That really wraps up the story about the Winters family. And I'm interested in seeing where they're going next with RE9. I'm going to assume that we're going to get another remake, which is RE5, because of the end of Separate Ways. And then I'm interested about the BSAA part because of the ending with Village, the main game, where Chris wants to go to BSAA Europe HQ and going from there. I'm interested in seeing where that goes in RE9. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this list and what you guys think is next for the franchise. So I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and thank you guys for supporting me throughout this year when I first started YouTube. I'm looking forward to seeing where my channel goes next in 2024. So stay tuned for my first upload of the new year, which is the compilation. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for future videos like this one right here. Thank you for watching. I'll, of course, see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.